There were times when I just told my boss, this is not my thing, I'm not able to do it. And that is when she told me, no, you can do it. I know you can do it. And gradually I did it. And I liked doing it. And as soon as I got to know that whatever I did was appreciated, people liked it, my work was pretty good, the next day I was like, give me that work, I want to do it again. I have always been the very curious and very enthusiastic child. So I was always very curious to learn in new lectures. I was very happy early in the morning to go to school, to meet my friends, to do various activities. I have always been treated like a princess at my home. So I never had that idea of working. But then as and when I grew up and I saw people working around and being independent. And as I mentioned that everyone gave me that thing in my mind that you land up at a good workplace if you do an MBA. As soon as I got done with my BMS, I had a 1 year huge gap of COVID. So that is what really hit my mind, and I was like, this is not what I am. I cannot stop. I need to do something in my life. And that is when I thought about MBA. Challenges I faced when the first day I came to Athena was, and when the lecture started, I couldn't be very attentive. To sit for 2.5 hours of lecture, I couldn't pay attention because I came after the gap, and somewhere, like as in when you get distracted in the between. So that is one of the biggest challenge I faced for, I think, for a week or so. I just couldn't pay attention. Also, Athena started with presentations like next day of college, and I was very afraid of public speaking. So that is what came into place, and I had to face it, that now the public speaking fear is here and I have to face it. So I did not take a step back, but I participated, and I was like very much into it. I was like, I'll do it, I'll do as much as I could, and I did. When I initially came to Athena on the first day, I was very much scared to talk to new people. But at the same time, I was also very curious to know about other people around me. I had that thing in my mind, as if I am coming after a break of COVID, even others are. So I don't think so. It's only me who is facing that thing, but there would be others who are facing that same thing too. On the day two, Athena started giving us presentations, and we had to come in front of people and speak. But the duration of day two of Athena School and the Rotaract Club's installation and speaking there in front of people had a gap of 1 month or so. And in that 1 month, I did 4 to 5 presentations. So I had already faced that fear, and I was ready for the new challenge to come. And I was very much okay and very much happy that I had become the president, and I could face my fear. I spoke to new people, I made new friends. Yes. So one of the challenging part of studying over here was also the case studies, as I never experienced doing that before joining an MBA program. But once I did, I started, like, the faculties used to give us case studies, because it is all about, knowledge outside the world, the examples, and not what books has. So that was one of, and when it came like on the fourth day and we had to solve it, in fact on the first day itself, I found it little challenging, and I still feel, it is very boring and I don't want to do it. I feel lazy at times, but then once I am done with it and I have the new knowledge, yeah, I know that this company did this or this company did that. So I'm very much happy that, yeah, I did it, and I'm glad that they gave us this chance to solve it or understand whatever the issue was. My very first internship was at the biggest group of the hospitality industry, and that was my first internship what I was doing in my entire life, like throughout my life. And The very first day, I didn't know how I have to behave, or how I have to talk, or how do I take things. But when I sat on the table, when I went for the interview, or when I started working, all the things which my faculty taught me during my lectures, or whatever insights they gave me, because all the faculties are from the corporate world. So whatever they gave me, I took it, I processed it. Whatever my director told me, I had that in things in my mind. And as I was also the president of the Rotaract Club, had already met new people. I knew that after meeting, like after the big gap of COVID, how meeting new people was like. So I had that practice maybe of meeting new people again and again. So when I started doing my internship, or when I met the new people or the new group over there, I was pretty much prepared, and it was quite okay for me. In the very first week of my first internship, I had lots of work in my plate already. They had given me many responsibilities, and I was very much excited to do them, but I also needed some training. The people over there were very nice to me, and they taught me. I sat down with them, they used to teach me. I learned, and I performed. They were also happy in, like, during the first week for me to do something. And I faced achievements. There were some downfalls too, but it was a very good experience. My second internship was at a PR agency, and one of the top 10 PR agencies of India. Um, the one thing which was very different from my first internship was, here the people were of my age, so I could connect with them really well. And PR being very an enthusiastic job and very interesting, digital marketing was, you have to sit at one place and do that particular work. You don't have to go from place to place. But in PR, you have to think, you have to be creative, you have to be innovative, you have to see if you can. There were field jobs as well. During my second internship, when I was supposed to sit and do some specific works which my people asked me to, I faced some challenges. I couldn't perform at times, but I always had that support. I always got that motivation, that Ritika, you will be able to do it, and I know that you will do it. So that thing really pushed me, really motivated me, like, no, you have to do it, you have to try, and you just can't take a step back and say, no, it's not happening. There were times when I just told my boss, this is not my thing, I'm not able to do it. And that is when she told me, no, you can do it, I know you can do it. And gradually I did it, and I liked doing it. And as soon as I got to know that whatever I did was appreciated, people liked it, my work was pretty good, the next day I was like, give me that work, I want to do it again. And that one thing I took along with me throughout, from school to junior college to my graduation, and now to my post graduation. I also applied it to my internships. And it is, I think, very important for my own self to be very much motivated and be confident enough from inside, and have that thing. If I know that, if you give me some task, if anybody gives me some task and they tell me, Ritika, go and do this, if I don't want to do it, however easy it is, I won't be able to do it. Athena School of Management also provides a global immersion program for students apart from internships. Going for the global immersion program to Canada was one of the things I had to push myself for. I wasn't ready for it, and I always had that thing in my mind that I need to stay back here, or I need my parents around me. I cannot function without them. But I had to push, I had to tell myself that this is very much important for me, and it is obviously going to be very beneficial. So that is one thing where I had to come out of my comfort zone basically, and then go out and take that exposure. 30 days for me in Canada was like, first 15 days I was feeling very lonely. Like, next 15 days I was very much happy. So I couldn't balance my emotions, that what I actually want. Do I want to stay back, or do I want to go home? But yeah, of course, I always had that feeling of going back home and being with my parents. I think I can do it again. I wouldn't want to, but I can. People who are not facing their fears, or they are just avoiding it, I would want to tell them that if not now, then when? Or better late than never. We have to do it, and at some point of a time, we shouldn't regret that why didn't we do it. So it's better that we just do it, give it a try. If not, okay, but fine. But then what if it comes out well? So you should always try, you should always motivate yourself, you should always tell yourself, no, that we can do it, we will do it. And always think of the better thing which you're gonna get at the end of the whatever the problem is or whatever the fear is. So I would always want to tell people, I will always advise them that they have to do things which they are not good at, because that's how they are gonna become perfect. No human is perfect, but at least try to be one. So we should always have that positive attitude in our lives, that whatever, however hard it is or however difficult it is, we can do it and we will do it. So initially even I had many fears, but I always felt that I have to overcome it and I have to face it. And without taking an initiative, I couldn't have done that. During my first internship, I wasn't very much happy with my performance initially because I was still learning. But then gradually, when I learned, when I tried my best, and even when the performance was not up to the mark, I knew that I have given my 100%, and I couldn't do anything beyond that. So that one thing made me pacified me actually, that whatever it is just fine. I don't have to overthink about it, or I don't have to be sad about it. I would just try it better the next day. I don't want to stop. I always want to grow. I always want to take a step ahead. And that is what I mean by saying growing professionally. Like, yeah, there's no one can hold me back, and I don't want to feel restricted or helpless, or just for myself that, it's just been too long over here. And me being a very curious person, I want to see what is next always. So for being in a particular position for 2 years or more is enough for me. I want to go ahead. I want to see what is next. The next 5 years down the line, I see myself working with a good corporate company, and I am achieving whatever the company is expecting me to professionally. But personally, I see myself growing in terms of knowledge, in terms of experience, and I see myself doing things for me, for my family, and just growing both professionally and personally.